Here's the English translation of the children's story about the brave little rabbit Ruby helping animals overcome their fear of the sly fox. Minus. Brave little Ruby the rabbit. The forest mornings were always beautiful, with sunlight filtering through the leaves creating dappled patterns on the ground, and dewdrops sparkling on blades of grass. But lately, the small animals of the forest hadn't been able to enjoy these simple pleasures. They were constantly looking over their shoulders, diving into their burrows at the slightest rustle, all because that sly foxhawks had been prowling about again. I almost got caught by him yesterday, trembled Squeaky the squirrel, his fluffy tail puffed up with fear. If I hadn't climbed that tree so fast, I'd be his lunch by now. He trampled all over my carrot patch, sighed old Benny the goat. A whole month's work ruined. Under the great oak tree at the forest center, the animals gathered with worried faces. Only Ruby the rabbit sat with her long ears perked up, her ruby red eyes shining with thought. "We can't go on living like this," Ruby suddenly declared. "Jumping at every shadow, too scared to forage properly, soon we'll all go hungry. But what can we do?" Prickles the hedgehog curled into a ball. "Hawks is too clever. Last time I rolled up for protection, he kicked me right into the creek." Ruby smoothed her soft white fur with determination. "I'm going to find a way to help everyone stop being afraid of hawks." The other animals looked at the small, unassuming rabbit in surprise. Ruby wasn't the strongest in the forest, but she had the bravest and kindest heart. Over the next few days, Ruby observed Hawk's movements. She noticed the fox always appeared at dusk near the western blackberry thicket. Ruby decided to wait for him there. That evening, Ruby hid carefully behind some bushes near the blackberries. As the setting sun painted the forest gold, she heard rustling. Hawks was coming. But something was different today. Hawks was limping badly. Ruby peeked out and saw the fox's front paw was injured and bleeding. Hawks looked miserable, trying to lick his wound but wincing in pain each time. Ruby's heart pounded. Every instinct told her to run, but seeing Hawks in pain tugged at her heartstrings. Suddenly, Hawks lifted his head, his sharp eyes locking onto Ruby's hiding spot. "Who's there?" Hawks growled, his voice still intimidating enough to make the little rabbit shiver, despite his injury. Ruby took a deep breath and stepped out. "It's me, Ruby the rabbit." Hawks narrowed his eyes. A rabbit delivering itself. Just what I need." He tried to pounce, but collapsed with a yelp, clutching his injured paw. Seeing this, Ruby's fear melted away. She approached cautiously. "Your wound looks serious. It could get infected if not treated." Hawk stared in disbelief. "You're not afraid?" "I'm a fox, I eat rabbits." "Of course I'm afraid," Ruby admitted honestly. "But it's wrong to see someone hurt and not help." She pulled some herbs from her little pouch. "This is herbs my grandmother taught me to make. Let me bandage it." Hawks watched warily as Ruby worked, but as the cool herbs soothed his pain, his tense body relaxed. Ruby fashioned a neat bandage from soft grass and bark fibers. "Why help me?" Hawks asked quietly. "After all I've done to the forest creatures." As she adjusted the bandage, Ruby said, "Because every life deserves kindness." Maybe. Maybe you're not as bad as you seem. After a long silence, Hawks whispered, I scare everyone because I'm lonely. The other foxes call me clumsy and won't play with me. Only when I frighten little animals do I feel noticed. Ruby looked at Hawks with new understanding. This terrifying fox was just lonely. She pulled a carrot from her bag. Here. I know foxes don't eat carrots, but it's a token of friendship. Hawks took the carrot hesitantly, then suddenly laughed. You're the first creature who wasn't afraid to talk to me. As the sunset painted them both gold, Fox and Rabbit shared a smile, an unlikely friendship blossoming between them. The next day, Ruby called a forest meeting. When she explained she'd helped Hawks and that he'd promised to change, nearly every animal protested. You can't trust a fox. Squeaky hugged his tail fearfully. He's tricking you. He'll eat you when he's healed. Bambi the fawn stamped her hoof. Ruby listened patiently to their concerns. I understand your fear. But if we never give others a chance to change, how will we know if they can? She announced that Hawks would attend their monthly moon gathering to apologize personally. This caused an uproar, but Ruby's conviction made the animals agree, albeit nervously, to give Hawks this chance. That night under the full moon, as all the forest creatures gathered in the clearing, bushes rustled and Hawks appeared. Immediately, animals tensed to flee. Wait! Ruby hopped forward. Please hear Hawks out. The fox hung his head, ears drooping, a far cry from his usual proud stance. I want to apologize. I scared and bullied you all because I thought it was fun. But Ruby showed me real happiness comes from friendship, not fear. To prove his sincerity, Hawks brought gifts: a pile of pine cones he'd gathered for Squeaky, and he'd repaired old Benny's trampled carrot fence. Gradually, the animals relaxed. When Hawks used his nimble paws to untangle vines from Prickle's spines, the hedgehog even giggled. Who knew fox paws were so handy? By the end of the gathering, laughter filled the forest. Hawks was no longer feared, but valued. He taught birds to build sturdier nests, showed deer to the best grazing, even used his keen nose to warn of a prowling lynx. From then on, no creature in the forest lived in fear. Whenever new animals heard about the fox and trembled, Ruby would say, "Don't judge by appearances. Give everyone a chance to show their true heart." Sometimes the unlikeliest enemy can become the dearest friend. As for Hawks, he became one of the forest's protectors, safeguarding the very creatures who once feared him. His friendship with Ruby became legendary, a tale of how one brave little rabbit's kindness transformed an entire forest. Minus. The translation maintains the original stories, warmth and moral lessons while adapting naturally to English storytelling conventions. I kept the animal names simple but distinctive: Ruby, Hawks, Squeaky, etc., and preserved the emotional tone of key scenes. The language is accessible for children while retaining the story's charm. Let me know if you'd like any adjustments to the translation.